Niggas always mess with me, but that shit ain't really controversial. I'm an average rapper, no I didn't come for competition. Temptations I avoid, but they think it's lack of exposure. Big steppers on my way, but that don't matter, I will kill them. Niggas always mess with me, but that shit ain't really controversial. I'm an average rapper, no I didn't come for competition. Temptations I avoid, but they think it's lack of exposure. Big steppers on my way, but that don't matter, I will kill them. I came to contradict the most niggas use contraception. The last time I paid a visit, she was the one begging for more. Flexing with the niggas when we know we're on the low. I used to eat my words, but now I just masticate them. Mess up with my gang, then you know you're in a problem. I had to give up when I realized that they're selling souls. Let bygones be bygones instead of enemies, let's be friends. Hustling from morning to sundown, trying to make ends meet. I'm new to the game, so I just feel like I'm.
Once again, guys, welcome back to the Jetro podcast. It is your boy Alex, and today I'll be joined by
Lovinah,
Tanaka,
and Precious.
Okay, so today I'm joined by Lovinah, Tanaka, and Precious, and these people are going to give us insights on one of the most controversial topics in the streets. This topic has been a pain in the butt to some people in relationships, in households, and to even people who are still trying to find an ideal partner. And this topic is none other but the issue surrounding virginity, because so many people are being stressed by this topic, and even with social media giants like Shaddai, who speaks about these issues, but does it really cover or look at all aspects of this issue? So today I'm joined by the youth, young adults who want to give us their take on this issue, because it's important that we hear from them themselves, what they think about the issue surrounding virginity. So today we'll be looking at this issue, scrutinizing it, and coming up to a common ground when it comes to this issue. So today I'm joined by a young man and two ladies. And the discussion should be balanced, because it's important that we look at all aspects. So, Lovinah, I start with you. What do you take about this issue on virginity? What do you understand by the term of virginity in your own understanding?
Okay, so for me, I just take it from the scientific view, where it is just a thin hymen, which is available in women. Yeah.
Okay, so generally you just look at a biological way.
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Piggy.
I would view virginity as for me personally, it's all to do with integrity, like a woman's integrity, as well as a value. But then it also does apply to men, which in biological sense, it actually is the breaking down of the hymen, which was mentioned by my colleague. But then it also does apply to men, which is the issues which we actually neglect, but then the issue of the breaking of our virginities as well as men, and covering parts of women as well.
Okay. Precious, what do you think?
Well, my colleagues already covered much of it, but taking it from an African cultural background, I'd take virginity to be a symbol of purity and moral uprightness.
Okay.
They mentioned an issue of hymen, right? Yes, to some extent we can put it that way, but what are we saying about people who are born without the hymen?
Okay. So there are people who are born without the hymen?
Yes.
Okay.
There are people who are born without the hymen.
Interesting. So, this while I thought that the word virgin just means unexplored lands. Unexplored or whatever field. So, it goes deeper, right?
Yeah.
The issue of virginity. Because as you grow up, I'm sure girls are taught different things about virginity and its importance, right? So, what are some of the important aspects of virginity? If you guys have been taught, and what do you think how virginity is important to our societies today?
Okay, as for me, I think from my colleague, she was saying some people are born with hymen and some don't have the hymen. But looking back at our culture, I think they don't know anything about that. Because the society expects every girl, maybe when she gets married, to and that is the moment that the hymen is broken, right? But it's not the issue these days, because we just come to understand that not everyone is that hymen, and it's not everyone that understands that not everyone is that hymen.
Wait, so you're saying that some people, even from years back, some people did not relate, but it was not out there in the streets or in the general public. People didn't know about that.
It was the situation to not protect the status of the family, but it was there, because we can look at my children and I make as well, I don't want it. Then I can look at that blood. I don't know she was not full. But issues, we come to understand which one each and everywhere, but sometimes try to eat it, but just because on my privilege and their statuses. So as long as we put I don't say,
so it actually existed. It has always existed, that issue. So Peggy, what do you think about that? The issue that girls do not bleed when it comes to virginity?
Well, I actually got to know this today that some people are born killing people without their hymen. But then, growing up as a male, we didn't really have the discussions, especially considering the fact that I personally grew up without my father. So it's a factor that we didn't really discuss when it comes to virginity in men. But then, with my mom having a sister, I got to understand that virginity plays an important role in a woman's life, actually, because, like I said, when I was defining how I understand virginity, I mentioned the fact of a woman's integrity and value. So I believe that having to be a virgin plays a magnificent role for women to state out their value, not precisely just their value, but then their integrity as well. So, but then I'm not saying if you're not a virgin, then you aren't of value or of integrity, but then it's just a factor that we should consider in the society, that we do acknowledge the fact that a woman is a virgin.
Okay, I want to get back to Precious. You spoke about that virginity in African culture correlates to purity, right? So, does it mean that, what do you mean by purity? I don't really understand about that issue. Is it in spirit or is it in flesh or what?
Okay, so let me put it this way first. And when two people are intimate, like sexually intimate, and taking it from a spiritual background, and there are soul ties between the two parties, and which means kuti, let's say it's just a typical example, and let's say I have sex with him, and I'm going to have my spirit you know, like and also attached to me are going to be my spirits, and then he's also going to get part of the spirits now, soul ties, and then from a simple societal background, and purity, it basically means to them it's our satomboita sex, and you're pure. And yes, like she mentioned, kuti, most of them would expect you kuti ublide and all, right? But that's not the case. Actually, kunevan kuti akasato blida. She mentioned that earlier. That means they are, one way or the other, they're assuming kuti you're not pure, because to them purity is defined by the blood that you release. Pauno breakwa. You get it? Yeah.
So what I find interesting about your point is that you mentioned that when people have sex with each other, they exchange spirits and stuff. But what I'm understanding from what you said, we are all exchanging the bad spirits. Isn't there exchange of good spirits, good traits and stuff? We are not talking about them bad spirits. Why is it that?
Okay. Isn't we were talking about purity?
Okay.
And so taking it from an African setup, the only thing that's mainly talked about is the negative impact of sex before marriage. We really have that positivity being introduced there. Saga, since Tichukura, right, we've just been told soul ties there, we've never had of that positive impact that comes with sex.
Okay,
yeah.
So we have a one-sided point of view when it comes to sex before marriage.
it's basically one-sided.
Okay, on that issue, guys, I want to ask something. So, when a woman has sex for the first time and their virginity is broken, she's automatically labeled as a bad person because she has had sex out of marriage, right? Even her character is even questioned. That is what happens, right? Even the next boyfriend will even question her character. But does it mean that a good character ends when her virginity is broken? Because now we're saying that non-virgins are people with the bad characters. That is the general conception out there. That non-virgins are people who are bad people, they have no morals and stuff. Is it not the same that a person who is a virgin today, if she has sex and her virginity breaks, does it mean that she's now morally, or is it that if I'm not a virgin, even as a virgin, she's still a bad person? Which one?
Well, from that take, I would like to understand that everyone here is familiar with every individual's flaws. We all have flaws in our lives. So I feel like the first thing we have to understand is the factor how that certain particular individual ended up having sex. Because you figure out that men, we are manipulative to that extent. You can manipulate a woman to sleep with you, and then you leave them after. But then that person is a victim of your manipulation, and we do not have to question their character. Why? Two, we also have to figure out the fact that as men, would we say if we do not have our virginities as well? Let's say, alright, Inini, I have had sex for the first time, I'm no longer a virgin. Then we have my colleague here has sex again, and they are no longer virgins. That does not define our characters or our personalities. I do not solely believe that we should determine or judge a person's character by their status when it comes to virginity. Why? Because you might have innocent people out there, but then because, like what I mentioned, because they've been a victim of someone's manipulation, they've now had their virginity taken away from them. In the promises of, you know how
So
men
they're
are.
scared.
Exactly.
Like
It's a Ponzi scheme.
Like an creator.
Yeah, exactly. It was a Ponzi scheme. So that's like the whole spectrum of my understanding towards a person's character and their virginity. We should not conclusively have like a defining character for them due to their flower being taken away from them.
Okay. Yeah, alright, I understand. What about you? What do you think?
I think I got this point again, because we can't say, guys, I think character again. The issue of virginity doesn't even come in there. Because I think just because she's no longer a virgin, so she has a bad character and stuff. Because sometimes you don't know where those people came from. Sometimes people will maybe victims of even rape, but people don't consider that.
But the issue of rape is that these days, girls are lying about I was raped. You see the problem now. They are actually now manipulating men in telling them, baby, I was raped. You see now. So it's now a problem. Girls are not, guys now are not certain about that issue.
I understand you.
At the end of the day, the guy compromises because he loves that girl. So he'll be like, it's okay, as long as we are okay. But even after he takes that girl, he'll be labeled as him in the streets. So that's how virginity to men is important. But I want to make sure that I'm not taking any sides. I just want to understand both sides of the spectrum. How about you?
Okay, the problem that we have as a society is that based on virginity, yes, a woman's virginity is more important compared to a man's. That's because we are surrounded by patriarchal norms and attitudes which actually allow men to have sex. Why? Because they say that a man has to have experience and agency, right? So now the thing is, the very same men who are gaining experience want to marry virgins. So my main question is, muna wana copy my virgins actually in muchingo cheka kwesi. You get the point? Because now you can't say, at the same time, you have no right to label somebody's character according to virginity, because Titorinema virgins who are practicing oral sex out there. You get it? People are practicing oral sex. And then we have exactly. And then we have other people who are non-virgins, not because they had sex. They are sporting activities that can make you lose your virginity. You get it? Horse riding on its own. Horse riding, there is loosening of that hymen for those that have it. But still, not and then there are other people who are victims, like my colleagues mentioned, and kunema victims of rape, kunema victims of manipulation, and other people you don't know. Like, for instance, I'm a part one, and when we came to varsity, there's this freshman party. You're this innocent little child. Someone tells you, and go party. Just because you are in varsity, you're like, no, let me just experience it once since there's freedom. You go there, you don't know who you're hanging around, you're spiked, next thing, you having sex. You get it? Unnecessary virgin, that doesn't give anybody the right to question my character, because it's something that just instantly happened.
It's not about, you are not questioning your character. What happens, according to the boy side, to the male side, we will now be questioning if how many guys have you slept with. It's not like that the vagina lives last seen how many guys have been here. That's the question mark which guys have. So we're now certain, we're living in a world of uncertainty already. Pig, what did you say about that?
Like when you were mentioning the whole thing about you being a freshman and being invited to a party and like later on being manipulated there at the party, I would like to think of it as a situation you literally have put yourself in, because one, it's just a hypothetical example, but then let's say you did not actually decide to go to this party, you would be probably you'd not probably be prone to like having any sexual indulgence with these people. Two. But then I personally think that if I am to marry, I could marry a non-virgin, I could also marry a virgin. It just depends on my personal feelings towards the person. Because of the factor, like I mentioned before, we cannot solely judge a person's character or personality because of their virginity. We can have virgins that are whoring around, like they have multiple sexual partners. Just like I've recently learned that women actually have these pills, or I don't know, some juju they do. Like they can literally get their virginity back. Wow. You understand?
And so then talk about I do not believe. Now it's being manipulated now.
It's obviously the guys now are the victims, because I'm getting a package that is sealed but it's been opened by 10 people. You understand? Mm-hmm. It's just been repeated. Mm-hmm.
Girls, what do you have to say about that?
On the issue of virginity restoration, I think you guys are pushing them to do it. Because I don't understand why you go, you find your girl. Why are you asking me body count? For what? Are you going to change anything? You ask her how many guys you slept with
about purity.
before.
Yeah, plus
right?
guys have standards.
No.
We have
You know
standards and priorities.
You ask her, right? How many guys have you slept with before? She could say 2. No one will say 10. No one will say 17. No. Yeah. She'll say, 2, 1, right? Then that question that which you pop to you that how many guys, right? So some of them I have 17, then I like that I have 2. They are going to look for those things to restore. It's not like they are getting their virginity back, but the main thing that I have is that they are getting it back intact. Yeah.
So
and there are many of them not to respond with those things. So I think the guys are to blame for this restoration thing.
Pressure. We are pressuring you to do that.
Exactly.
Okay, so to the guys out there, I want to ask you, P. You are breaking girls their virginities and then demand for virgins at the end. How is it fair?
Alright,
What's your J now?
alright, for the guys, I think it's not really fair to demand or to say that you want to marry a virgin whilst you've been sleeping around with other women out there. But then at the same time, as a guy, as a man, we have our particular standards and priorities we look for in a woman. So if I'm a man who's going to say, despite me sleeping around with other women out there, I should marry a virgin because like it goes with my culture. I should not go out along like outside of my standards just because I want to compromise for my previous attitudes. No. If you are a man who says I will marry a virgin, stick to your norms and values. But then for me personally, I feel like I will not have that platform here. I will be like, no, I'm not going to marry a non-virgin because she's been sleeping around. Because I know myself and I know my standards. But then what I look for in a woman is the love, the care, and how she handles herself when I'm with her. Exactly.
That's sweet, brother. That's sweet. So I believe what you're saying, right? So we should look for other qualities in girls besides virginity. That's right.
Yeah.
But I also want to ask the question: does virginity guarantees happiness, peace, and tranquility when we get into marriage?
Well, with some men, especially with those men that believe that marrying a virgin is going to guarantee them love, if they do somewhere somehow find themselves in that situation, at the back of their minds, like if they marry a non-virgin, let's say it's because of love, at the back of their mind they'll still have that question, she's now a non-virgin, so which means she has had some sexual partners before me. So that will not guarantee you happiness because you're keeping that thought at the back of your mind, right? So I feel like marrying a non-virgin or a virgin does not really guarantee you love or happiness in a marriage or a relationship. Why? Because, like we said before, we do not solely define a person's character or how they're going to conduct that marriage or relationship because of their virginity. Because they might still be a virgin, but then unruly. Like, you know, that person, they have this masculinity in them. They will not, like, in the Bible, it's actually mentioned that a woman should submit to their husbands, right? Okay. And then we can have that virgin not submitting to you, and that becomes a problem, and it causes chaos in the marriage or the relationship.
So at the end of the day, character is what matters.
Character and personality. For me, that's the key. Be non-virgin or virgin, character and personality.
So guys, hear the boy, he said that if your character is weak, when you're a virgin, it doesn't mean anything. Yeah. Because virginity is for one night, but character is for life.
It's for life.
And even marriage comes from God. So, you girls, I want to ask you something. Do you care about the male side of virginity? Or do you care about the guy who has experience?
I think as much as they want to see us virgins, are also supposed to be virgins. You can't be expecting me to be a virgin whilst you're not. As far as you want me as a virgin, be a virgin. Then we're good to go.
But the male virginity is not like visible. That aspect is still very important.
Even if it's not visible, but why can't you keep yourself? As far as you want me to keep myself from marriage.
But it's so realistic. The guy always lied to you that I'm virgin.
Yes.
Okay, what about you?
Well, okay, guys will think it's not as important, but on my side, it has to be fair, because if you're going to demand to marry a virgin, or if you want to marry a virgin, you also have to be a virgin. And as of experience, I remember one pastor once said that the devil will make sure that you're intimate before marriage and you're never intimate after marriage. Therefore, if it says for experience, it's a natural thing. It just happens on its own. Like, you drive, it's a natural drive. You don't have to go for those lessons. It's a natural drive.
When it comes to experience.
Yes, because you also have to, okay, it's body language between you and your person. And when you're being intimate, you're going to feel good to know Munwangu doesn't like it this way, or I'm good at this, I'm good at that. So on your own, you naturally get to adapt. You get it? So this thing you're going to experience is a very invalid point, guys. Truptoda my virgins.
But I would like to ask this, like, the reason recently there's been a study like why men cheat, and one of the reasons was because it's because of inexperienced women at the sexual activity part, right? Because women were good to, men cheat because they're boring women, Even in relationships, being
No,
relationships.
I want to get on that. It's not their fault. It's I think now it's the guy's fault because before marriage, the guy is having friendly matches before marriage, right? And when he gets to the finals, that's married, right? You'll be now comparing the lady. He's now no idea.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. That if for you to actually enjoy your marriage, like sex plays a magnificent part, especially for the women. It plays a magnificent part in a relationship because if you do not satisfy your woman correctly, they will move outside the relationship and go and sort that ex pleasure. So despite them having like previous relationships and history with other sexual partners, you as a man, you should be also like capable to reach that extent. Yeah, you should satisfy her at least to make her appreciate you. Nah, my man satisfies me as much as I can.
Now I'm competing with the exes right now.
Exactly, that's the reality of marrying a non-virgin. That now you have to satisfy her more than this other previous guys. Let's take for instance, I'm married to her and you were her ex, and now you have satisfied her like so now like she every time even when she's having sex with me and I'm not pleasuring her, she literally have to think about you so that she can get to that pleasure. Now that's bad for a marriage or relationship.
Is it true like this?
I don't think that is because this issue is both sides. She's saying maybe I'm experienced, right? So I have to go back to my ex. It's the same with them. She comes to me, I'm a virgin. I'm not experienced, right? So she'll be like, that Esther, that Diana, and he will obviously go back there because that is where he gets better.
No,
that's
so
the downside of being a non-virgin.
So let us all be virgins.
No, I think what happens is that the guy will stay with you for the sake of. Because to be with you, you would love some certain qualities of you. That's care, that's love, and that's warmthness and stuff. You stay with you for the sake of that. Maybe for sexual pleasure to go to the ex, but I'm not supporting that. That's why I'm not saying that non-virgins should go with the non-virgins. Virgins should go with the virgins.
No,
I think
but
that.
No, it's Alex. I think if I'm getting it correctly, like where women go and they get trained like to navigate through a man, like to pleasure men. Trust and believe me, if a man is pleasured, they will never cheat.
But that is the culture. That's not
Sex
everywhere.
doesn't keep a man.
Sex does keep a man.
It doesn't keep a man.
It plays a 60%.
Sex doesn't keep a man. Like if sex kept a man, why would they be having a bunch of exes? I mean, sex will never keep a man, guys. To be honest,
if you pleasure a man, there's a difference between just having sex and having to pleasure them.
You pleasure them,
Like,
but they get to the extinction stage. You know, like okay. There's a stage with me say you're actually feeling it, he's getting the pleasure that he wants, and then you definitely reach a point where everything is extinct, right? There's no pleasure in that sex, like it's something that you're already used to, same style, same positions, there's nothing else there to explore, you know.
Guys, according to me, I think that people get into relationships with their wrong motives. We are looking for sex and pleasure. I think
but then it's a part of the relationship.
Yes,
we can't ignore that.
But I think sex, we are making it the main point of relationships. Relationships are there to build us, whether spiritually, physically, and even economically. Helping us to chase our dreams and so on. I'll be happy to see my girlfriend grow, like developing herself, becoming a better woman. Because there's no point of having a girl who is just like the rest of the girls. And she'll want the same for me, to be different. As for me, I dare to be different. I don't want to be like any other guys. I always feel like there's something there about me. Now, sex now should be like a benefit of the whole
union
of the relationship now. So when you have sex now and you start not to feel each other, and now you're feeling that like the relationship is failing, then you have to question your priorities of why you got into the relationship first. Now, when you start to feel like the sex isn't good, you have to remember why you got into the relationship. relationship in the first place, it was because of love. Now you have to let love burn and bleed, and that's when you can communicate. When you love your person, you actually have to sit down and communicate. No, baby, let's do this and this and this. Because when you keep quiet in a relationship, there will be resentment. You will not be like close to that extent.
But how many cases have you had of, like, especially with men, it's so offensive if a woman tells you that you're not pleasuring them. And this is related to
no, that's an ego
but
problem.
then it's of course it's an ego problem, but then it's naturally it's a natural instinct of men that if you're told by a woman you're offended, right? But then I feel like it all circles around, like you mentioned, understanding your partner. Like communicate, like she mentioned the fact that like your language, your body languages, you like sort of start relating to each other when you're like the activity, like the sexual process, the whole thing. You start relating to each other. You start knowing, nah, my partner loves this, my partner doesn't like this, and all that stuff. And eventually you end up like riding in the same direction, Messi. And it's also important to and if some couples actually encourage, you know, those like my performance thingy pews, like bigger. You know, I don't like my pews could increase like his endurance or performance during the sex, right? Now that's because of course. I don't know, my guy naturally cannot pleasure me, but I love them.
No, that's why guys now are not willing to make that visions. Now that she's giving him pleasure. Yes, she's just a guy who used to enjoy.
But that's the same pressure that guys are giving to ladies that makes them go for those tightening creams, for those pills and stuff. Because of course, Andega, you have the experience, and definitely she's also worried about experience. If we're going to talk about experience, and realistically, as a virgin, she's going to be worried about experience. Alright, so what is he going to think of me, about me? What if I mess up? What if I do this and that? And if it's the guy on his end, she'll end up looking for those tightening creams. She'll end up going to those sangomas and stuff. And the other thing is that now we lack those tetes that used to be there back in the days. You know, like the tetes from our grandmother's times or our parents' times, they used to sit with the girl child. This is how it's done, A, B, C, D, you get it? And then we also have cultures, like even the Zulu culture, and they have this Uhlola process, which is like a verification process. And where they go, they check virginity, and then they train them on how to have sex, right? But on the other thing, the reason why we no longer have those cultures, or the reason why they're being extinct, is because we believe in women's rights. You get it? Because Trukuti Susu, you're abusing my women's rights. I'm not supposed to open my legs for somebody else, for somebody else to do this. You see? So I think that Inye Kuti, we have lost our culture due to modernization. We no longer have that grooming that our parents used to have. Because my parents said I told my virgins, and they are still together right now. They have the experience. They were taught how it's done.
This generation can get to an older age always.
No. I don't think so, but I know so. It's
no, guys.
It's us.
We are biased on how we sort of like look down upon our current generation. Like, because it's actually becoming a social thing. Like, we have social norms. That was a social norm, and it was like followed like during back in the day. And nowadays we have the society saying, hey, I'm not care about me, and we are normalizing that fact. I feel like as much as we are like a new generation, we can actually go to 60 years, 30 years, 40 years in marriage, like in a union. Why? Because I feel like we have people out there who are genuine people. You can be in a relationship and you fall in love with that particular person. You marry each other, and then you help your souls grow to becoming like successful people, and you still end up together. So I can't really say because of our generation. Of course, probably we are having high rates of divorces because like people are messy out there and stuff, but then we still can reach that platform. I've been married for 30 years. I'm celebrating my 31st anniversary. I'm celebrating my 45th anniversary in marriage. We can do that.
What about you, Lovinah? What do you think?
For me, I think you have to look back at the look. Yes, maybe you're answering that. As a girl, right, I'm supposed to keep my virginity for women.
Alright, that's a tricky question because why? I might approach you today and promise you the whole world.
Yes.
And I'm like I said, my men are manipulative. Or rather, we are not manipulative, but then situations happen. You know what happens in relationships. Like, yeah, no believe this. Then I'm actually genuine with you. And then you are convinced that this guy is genuine with me for sure. Then we have sex. Then probably 3-4 years, 3-4 years down the line, then something, somehow messes up our relationships. Then we break up. That's not my fault. And probably it was right for you to keep your virginity for me, but then it's just because the universe didn't somehow want us to.
Plans.
Yeah, we had plans, but then the universe just wasn't on our side. And then
the same way I said to yeah, it's not your fault, you separated, right? Why can't you accept it on someone you meet outside there? Because the issue is the guys outside there. What's the one that's virgin? They are 2% good. How come they are not virgin at this age? So I think I will come to a point here, as a girl, if you are a virgin and you want to still be a virgin, let it be because of your self-love, because you want to be. Maybe it's because of religion, you have to get married at some point. If it is so, respect that. It's okay, move on that. Maybe near tradition and move and stuff. If it is so, move on with that. Not because of keeping it for a man or a husband. Because it will come into stage. Yeah, that's what it's nature. Watching it at the nature, that at some point, but that virginity is gone. I don't want to lie. It will always stick into that girl's mind. Because I can keep it 0 years. Kusvika maybe 23 24 wozorora nayo yabva wazomti ayo zvangoitika zvakaitoitika uchiitawo move on ndakuitawo move on zvinokwanisa madepressions and stuff. So in your mind as a girl, cannot you keep it for yourself? You want to be pure, yes, be pure for yourself. Not because I'm keeping it for a husband. Because the moment you are going to include because of your husband, if that husband disappoints, I don't want to lie, those people are killing themselves out there.
Suicide.
Yes.
Okay. But life isn't all roses, life is brutal. Eventually, you can always find yourself in that situation, even if you're keeping the virginity for yourself.
If it is for yourself, Because if it is for yourself, I don't like. You get your point that you're going to be sexual active because you don't want it, not because you're being pushed to do it because of your husband or something. Because you come to your point, I've been keeping myself from 21, 22, from 18 or 17, but you come to say, now I'm touching, I want to indulge in sex. You will not regret anything because you want to, not because the relationship is forcing you to, not because your boyfriend is forcing you to. So you won't face any challenges in that way.
So do you see any fault? This is just a random question. Do you see any fault with a girl who's a non-virgin at probably the age of 19 billion? It's a book you guys
19 and below, and she's a non-virgin.
Yeah, because of your own personal choice, I'm beginning to be active.
I think with this era that we have, sometimes I think maybe 90%, yeah, it's not good because you're 19, you're already down into sex, but you have a long way to go for life. But on the other side, if it's what she wants, let her go.
Now we have to look at the fact that she wants to get married maybe 23, 24. She's been active with 19 years. By the time she's ripe for marriage, what do you think happens on this timeline when she's active?
It also comes back to guys.
That's when why guys are want.
It also comes back to guys. You are 17 years already.
Okay.
So why can't she be?
I want to ask you a question. Let's say I'm only meeting non-virgins. I have not broken any girl's virgin.
But why? That's what you need to say. The problem is why you don't want to say.
Do I have a problem with that girl? She's not a virgin. But then, is it wrong for me to demand a virgin? Because I want a virgin. That one who said to me.
You know what? If you're a virgin and you want to marry a virgin, you are 19, you're 20, you're 21, you're not ready for marriage. Don't go around sleeping with those non-virgins. Leave them. By the time you want to get married,
there's no
then go and look for your virgin.
It's not like you're going to be blaming me for the fact they're good to see. Like you were saying, I think someone mentioned it earlier, so like guys usually go on a spree, you're going to I'm going to be having sex. And then like I'll be breaking my virgins cheated. And then let's say I've broken like 4 girls and performed those who probably angarikana mukadzi wa Alex wanda break. And you're like, hey, that's wrong. Alright. I'm getting those riches. My non-virgins, virgins, but then I'm getting those riches. And I'm just hitting my non-virgins. Then there's go to Pakuro virgin. Because
You were in the first place. Why were you hitting? That's the question. You're saying you want to.
I'm actually considering the fact that I'm virgins. So I'm not going to be hitting any virgins. So I'm going to be just hitting my virgins. Plus, there's a thing you put
Isn't that brutal though?
It's not brutal.
It's
actually considered for the fact that I'm not going to break any
No, because Tati Sus, if you're a virgin, then you have the right to demand for a virgin. But if you know what you've been hitting and stuff, and you can't, you've been hitting, even my non-virgins, they're also people. Look, no, the point is, these guys, and you can't take them as rejects. You get the point? Exactly. You cannot take those people as rejects just because you want. You cannot take those guys as rejects because a virgin and stuff.
But no. you know a guy can actually like use condoms like 2 hours. That you marry my non-virgins, and still be a virgin.
But at the end of the day, it's still sex.
It's still sex, but
exactly.
then I'm still a virgin.
It's still saga.
Then those will go to a virgin.
What about virginity? And then you're going to go.
The issue you're getting now, you must sort it, isn't it? It's either watching a condom or not. They'll still attack. So, how do you expect to with those 15 which you had to air, they were non-virgins, but you have those 15 souls on you, then you want to go to another person's daughter who doesn't even have, she just only have a soul, and you have 50, you have 16 now.
Okay.
And you want to find a virgin.
Okay.
Do that.
Okay, guys. To be honest, I think if you're a guy, you want to find a virgin, I think you have to be patient. You have to kneel down and pray for a virgin, and you'll get that girl, no matter how long. But the problem is that we have problems of the flesh, pressure. So you end up meeting non-virgin and do that, but still try to refrain from that, right? But I have 2 questions for you ladies. Do you ladies, will you ever forget the guy who broke your virginity? That's one of the most topics which guys talk about. It's an issue. Though they say that, no, she will always compare me to that guy. Will you ever forget that guy? Because it's like a gift you give to a guy. And once a gift, it's a one-time of gift. So, do you ever forget that guy?
I think from what I heard from other people is the fear which is in guys, but not a problem to girls. If they move on, why don't move on? But to the guys, you'll be like thinking, I can't go into eggs, and it's swagging, she slept with first, so maybe it's always this one. But even if you manage to take good care of her, it's just like don't cheat on them, and you are in love with each other, guys. I don't think they're those issues with getting insecurities like that.
Okay, nice one. My second question is that do you know that X is a power and some kind of influence? Do you know that I can sleep with a girl and 10 years later we meet? Do you know that girl, if I broke her virginity, somehow she will have some kind of a connection? Because according to popular belief, when people sleep with each other, breaking each other's virginity, there's a bond which is created. If you meet after 10 years, won't you, 2 people if it's some kind of
Let's try it one
what
time.
might even if you're not planning for it, we fear that it might happen. If you sort of plan, you're not going to wait.
I'll come back to a biblical point of view. Because we slept together, right? Tiny connection. Then we break up. Then I just go and you go, right? I don't want to lie, I'm not reminded. When you meet again, we'll be together. But the issue comes from it. If you decide I'm breaking up with him, maybe it's not my first, or he's my third, or he's my fifth, or something. You have to go through the journey of breaking those ties. And you have to go. I think it's just not a day of thing, but maybe months. Giving your time with God.
Okay,
Talking
so
to God,
this
breaking
soul ties
those.
can be broken.
Then they can be broken, but it's not a day of things. And it's usually short time. You have to go even when you put your foot. I did this. And if you know for sure, on my own I can't do this. Then I want to discuss them, my pastors, maybe their elders, my churches and stuff. Then they'll help you in those prayers and stuff. They will be broken. And there are one of because I'm sister than God.
But it does happen, right?
It does happen. Because kind of bond was not break. I don't want to lie. You always get betrayal.
But you're precious, you seem to be eager.
I was actually just listening to her. Yes, she mentioned very important points. Yes, it's very much possible. Your first guy and ukazomona one way or the other. Yes, the fact that you have a bond like you mentioned, and that bond will still get you guys back together. But still, it's not just one-sided. And okay, let's say I have an ex and then I have a boyfriend. Obviously, if I meet my ex, I randy break her. I'll be like, oh my gosh, this guy. But same with my current boyfriend. You still want to go back to her. You get it? So it's just those bonds, like she mentioned. Unless like true.
But I have a question for you. So, bond override any character, self-control qualities.
It does, because that is spiritual.
But I feel like it's not always about that bond. Like I say, you can have sex with someone today and you have to pleasure them to the they'll be like, you robbed my world. And exactly. Then after years, Sangana, like besides the ties and all, the experience you gave them can make you want to have you again. Because I think exactly. Then just because of the memory and experience and the time you had together, that memory still sticks in their mind and she wants to experience that again.
This is why guys are worried about marriage engagements.
But at the same time, it's about feelings. At times you need to feel good, this person actually feel like we're doing this because he loves me. And then I have my current boyfriend. You discover that he's just there, or he's just giving me sex, not because I don't do that, because guys can just have sex with you and not have feelings for you.
Yeah.
You get it? So at times where you can actually tell that my ex was better, because you can not feel that ex one by 20 dash up to that. Yes, we messed things up, but I did that as compared to my current boyfriend. Because you can have a boyfriend and then chain where you was kind of again. And then from your ex, maybe on go to the 1 foot. You get it? So you start comparing between the two. Besides the bond, unototanga compare. No, that guy can break a virginity. I don't die as compared to this so-called guy and definitely I'll go back to my ex.
If that will destroy your kind of relationships. Yeah. So that's why I was saying in the first place, you guys, you have to get relationships not for sex only, but you have to be aware of the marriage aspect. Because you don't think anymore marriage, no face, sexy,
but Alex, what you have to know about women, you guys might actually not want to agree or admit to it, but women, if you mess up the sex part in a marriage, they might leave, they might cheat. Maybe not leave, but they will definitely cheat.
But if a woman will meet as a virgin,
men are so easy to pleasure. I'm telling you.
But let me tell you something. A girl who was a virgin, can she actually say that? I'm not the father. Because
No, you know, thing is magic. Now there's something called like someone's sex drive, or I don't know, like even at a virgin, you can actually note pleasure. Why? Because not to be explicit, but alright, mukadzi, besides them not having any sexual experience, right, now I'm pleasured. You understand? So if you don't get to the even, you know, like men, we quickly pleasure like women. So it's an obvious thing. If a man is pleasured, you're in your body page, you know, but I think as I say, as I to pleasure.
But I feel like that issue is more privileged, not ladies. Because if she has met like 5 guys and so on, you've been, I feel like you've been competition, like.
No, but it's like, are we saying good women? They're like men, like when it comes to pleasure. Like the type
women
of
are more difficult to pleasure.
Exactly, that's the same with virgins. Even if it's the system.
You're touching the wrong parts. I mean,
Yeah, it is.
I think
as
that's,
for a woman, you
I think
have to
it's-
discover it.
I think it's
Yeah.
about communication. You have to-
Communication is the key.
Communicate.
Communicate.
So at the end of the day, guys, what are you suggesting about the issue of virginity? Should what should they do?
I think people have to understand this topic. First, not everyone gets a hymen. And some have the hymen, but it's too thin. So even from chest to first night to yes, you may not see it. So don't blame them, guys. You know what you can. Kuna opposite even one there was some restorations and stuff. But if she came to you clean, that's it. Accept her as she is. Then second, if you want the vision, you can also try to do it. So that it can achieve complications.
So generally, I feel like the whole concept of marrying a virgin and a non-virgin also goes around one standards and priorities first, especially for men, because you figure out that most men be like, I want to marry a virgin, despite them not being a virgin or not. They still want to marry virgins because of their certain moral standards and the things they've set out for themselves and like what they've learned from their cultures and all. So generally, my view and perspective just circles around the fact that men, you should do what you want. If you want to marry a virgin, marry a virgin. If you want to marry a non-virgin, do as your heart pleases. But then let it be in the name of love. Because you can marry a virgin, but then at the end of the road, you guys end up divorcing because there's no true love amongst you. So it's important to just like marry the person you really love, despite their status when it comes to virginity or not.
Right.
Yeah, that's true. First of all, I'd like to say, don't judge someone's character based on the fact that they're virgin or not. And then, guys, this whole thing of sleeping around, like we mentioned, Kudema soul ties, you personally would discover that you have a benefiting relationship at one point where you're gaining so much money from your hustles, from work, from A, B, C, D that you do. And then there's another relationship, you're so dry, you get it? That's due to some of these soul ties that we come across in life. And it would be unfortunate to get also because we'll catch you on the street. Yeah. So I think that's basically everything I have to say.
Okay, interesting. And for me, I believe that love is what is most important. If you meet a person who is a non-virgin and she gives you all the love, she gives all the drive, support, a care, compassion, and she seems to be a person who can be a good partner for the rest of your life, you have to be with that person because character and everything, good qualities are what that matters. If you marry a virgin who will give you stress, even the Bible says that a naked wife is like a water dripping from a roof, you won't have peace. So it's better to look at character. At the same time, you have to let love lead at all costs. And in the streets of guys, Bakumana, let's care about the girl child. Let's not manipulate girls, get their virginity and dump them. At the end of the day, they are people, they are human. They got feelings too. They are not objects which you have to use and dump. They are not toys. So be wise out there, guys. And you girls out there, be careful of the people you are meeting. And then you will be so stupid, you will be so dumb giving your virginity away to that guy. Be wise, girls out there. Don't resort to a scandal. You like the bad guys, you like the wakomana who are abusing stuff, but sometimes you use logic because it will save you from unnecessary drama, unnecessary stress. Be wise out there. Wakomana, please, guys, don't do kumbirao. You don't want to straight. Can what I'm scanning mood for the sake of love. Je vous tends de support, je me scanne mood. Hey, ukro last. Body, je passe par le bon for, and even if I'm scanning body, we will discover in the 40s and the 50s should be degrading physically. Love, then again, shakaman. Imagine I'm scanning, usna bulunai, usna chupana gani body, kutlanza, wakomana kuzo kubrego, debramo na kaipa. Ono zoshika 50 years, no sona kuti, achana kiri nai, So, guys, that was me, Alex, on the podcast with Alex, and this is phase 2. And since we're enjoying and I'm appreciating the views, the likes, the subscribers, keep sharing the link, keep watching our other videos, and also be in contact with me. And we can also wake up if you want to feature on the podcast. Guys, stay safe out there. I love you, and I want to thank you guys for being with me here.
It's alright. Thank you for hosting us.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you. So guys, I'm out. Peace. And please subscribe and follow me on Instagram, Twitter.